take your political theater to Texas.
This is not about political theater.
And it was more political theater than anything.
It's nothing more than pure political theater.
It's pure political theater.
What up, folks? What up? I was about to start singing what's the name? Kenan Thompson. What up with that? What up with that? It's a great bit. It's one of my favorite bits from Saturday Night Live. Happy to see you. Happy New Year. I took a little break, much needed break, and a lot has happened. Oh man. As you come in, please hit that like button. Please share, let people know that we are here. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe. We do this twice a week, most weeks. All right, let's get into the drama. Unless you have been completely underneath a rock, which is fine. Let me just be honest here. If you have been living under a rock, shout out to you, because you've been able to avoid the nonsense that is the United States, right? And I don't know, like, there's so many people talking about so many things, and you all know Political Theater with Dr. T is not some, paid for shill for any political party. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I hate all those people. I hate them all, because as much as people like to have their little snappy takes like, oh, where are all the Kamala would have done the same thing people? The truth is she would have. And I don't know why people continue to lie about this. Hold on, we may have a guest. Let me make sure that this guest can join us in the studio. But anyway, so I'm not stupid. And you all are here because you know I'm not stupid. You know that I see through all of the nonsense. And because I am a Black woman, I have a perspective that is different than a lot of people, right? Like, I'm coming from, I'm a Black woman who happens to be queer, who happens to also live with disabilities, who grew up poor, right? I have these intersecting identities that have experienced oppression. So my perspective on the United States is kiss my ass. Everything you do is wrong. Everything you do is rotten. I don't care who is in the office. I don't care what race they are, what gender they are. Every single president is going to be rotten, particularly in terms of international and foreign affairs, right? That's just who it has to be. That's what we have to do. So, we have to think about that. Let me pull our guest to the stage. Hold on one second. Dr. Hall.
Hey.
Dr. Hall, everybody. Dr. Hall wasn't sure if he was going to make it today.
I didn't get it.
Oh. Now here's the thing. Okay.
The producer failed to let me know.
Wow. So here's the thing. You guys, Dr. Hall has a perpetual docket. I use the same docket every time.
Is that what that is?
And at the docket, at the top is the link.
Oh.
So if Dr. Hall wanted to be here,
he should have been prepared. I should prep. You want me to prep for this? Just fly by the
chat is saying Happy New Year.
Hey,
Dr.
Happy
Hall.
New Year, everybody.
Yeah. How
Glad
are
to be
you?
here. Doing pretty well. Can't complain. How are you?
Hey, I don't think I've seen you in this new year. I don't think we've like
No,
talked
this is the
about
first
you
time.
this. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, good to see you. Good to see you. So I was just telling everybody how like I hate our government.
Well,
And how I don't trust any of them, right? It doesn't matter who is in office. They should not be trusted, right? I'm not alone in this.
No, you're a black woman in America. Why would you trust the government?
Just what I said. I said because I am a black woman in America. I know better.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Right. It wasn't like we got a VIP pass to attend the America.
Right. And here's what's interesting is that this is like the 250th anniversary, right? And so, there's that theory that, empires collapse after 250 years.
Someone has brought that theory up before.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but I mean, granted, we could poke holes in it, and stuff like that, but who gives a shit? We're just going to rock with it. Yeah. And it's year 250. And I've been saying for some time now, well, one, I said that Trump was going to be reelected. People told me no. I said, yes, he is.
I was here for that.
You were here. I said this. I said he's going to be reelected. Mm-hmm. And I like this is going to usher in the collapse of the United States empire. I mean, and when we think about it, right, when we think about it, right, we think about all of, and I'm a very energetic person. We think about all the energy we've put out into the world. Over the last 2.5 centuries, right?
Yeah.
What did Malcolm X say? The chickens are going to come home to roost.
Yeah. Americans.
Not my chickens.
Yeah. America's chickens.
Not your chickens.
No. I mean, in some
we don't have nothing to do with this.
I've paid taxes. So, culpable in some ways, I guess.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, that's what we need to do. People, like, if 100 million people didn't pay their taxes, right? That would make a statement.
Can't arrest everybody.
But 99,999,992 people are going to be too afraid to do that, right? Look at what they did to Wesley Snipes.
Hey.
Put him in jail.
Yep.
They'll put you in jail.
Yeah.
They'll put you in jail. And so we're afraid of that.
All of us, though.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. They don't have the capacity to arrest all of us, and it would require a united effort. Unfortunately, because of America's legacy with racism, sexism, classism, queerphobia, transphobia, ableism, fat phobia, ageism, and all the problems that we have, unifying is impossible. We can't even get people on Threads to agree that One Battle After Another was a bad movie.
Well,
people.
The white darling Leonardo DiCaprio was in that movie, and the Sean Penns were in that movie. You're gonna get people that love the movie. That's bro culture. What are you talking about? And guns.
We got people on Thread saying that Michael B. Jordan played 5 characters in Sinners.
5?
Right.
I thought it was 2.5. Was it 2.5 or 5?
It's 2.
Okay, 2.5.
People say 0.5 for the vampire, but we have never, ever in the history of cinema said that someone who has become a vampire is playing 2 characters or half a character.
I just want to give him all the accolades, though. How do I stack up the accolades in a healthy way?
Whatever. People are not smart. All right, Doc. Did I give you? You have the docket, right?
Sure. Let me look. Apparently, I always have the docket.
Hold on. Let me send you a message so that you can open it up and know what we're talking about today.
It's
all
probably in your files.
I just sent it to you. All right. So So today's January 6th, Dr. Hall.
A day that rings out in infamy.
Why is January 6th important?
Because it was one of the many what is that word? Bulwark? What is the big word? Democracy. Democracy was the president of the United States decided to trample on democracy in a hearty way by fomenting a mob to attack the Capitol and traumatize an entire nation. And I made a joke about it today, just like a good college president who is secretly proud that his students trashed the campus after a loss. The president simultaneously called it a hoax and pardoned everyone involved, because that's what you do when it's a hoax. You pardon everybody who committed the hoax and the fraud and murder. They also murdered and desecration. They desecrated the Capitol grounds as well.
Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Let's go ahead and look at this.
And I remember it being so surreal.
Storming of the Capitol was launched. The time, 12:53. The first Trump supporters reached the barricades set up in front of the Capitol, demanding to be let through. A handful of cops make a brave stand, trying to hold the line, but the angry mob overwhelms them.
Maybe I should do something about this white on white
Hundreds
violence.
follow, swarming the grounds. Capitol Police are powerless. 1:15. Flag-waving Trump loyalists fill the steps and balconies. They even scale the walls.
I can see at least half a dozen protesters scaling, literally climbing the walls of the Capitol.
The thugs smash windows, using fists and a shield. This guy used a metal barrier on a door. 1:33, they're in. TV anchors watching it unfold live are stunned.
It is an absolutely shameful, disgusting situation that we are witnessing.
Inside the chamber, members of Congress take cover.
We were just told that there has been tear gas in the rotunda, and we're being instructed to each of us get a gas mask.
These are what the escape hoods look like. They're kept under every chair in the event of a chemical attack. Police blockade the door as the mob stalks the corridors.
The government did this to us. We were normal, good, law-abiding citizens, and you guys did this to us.
Today, the ease and speed by which the mob took over our cradle of democracy is sparking outrage. Some officers did their best. A lone cop is chased up the stairs, outnumbered, on his radio, calling for backup. They chase him up another flight and another, until reinforcements finally arrive. What happens next? Instead of placing them under arrest, it's a negotiation. These cops are under fire for appearing to open barriers to let the protesters through. Another cop took a selfie. MSNBC anchor Joe Scarborough couldn't believe what he was seeing.
Trump supporters come in and you open the doors for them. You open the doors for them and let them breach the people's house.
The chief of the Capitol Police is defending his department today, saying his officers were heroic given the situation they faced.
Okay, so Dr. Ho. So I think this is important, right? I wanted us to revisit this comment that Maxine made. I almost forgot how crazy these people are, because they absolutely were, right?
Yeah.
Like, when we talk about lynch mobs, right? And I think historically how lynch mobs happen, and I think that that's a particular language that we need to use, because sometimes I feel like people throw it around. And I think within the context of the United States, we have to be careful when we use that. But in terms of the mentality of a lynch mob, you have people there who will not know why they are there. They get swept up, right, in the crowd building, right?
Yes.
Dr. Hall, what is the psychology behind that? Because like when I think about it, I think of, well, so here's my perspective, and then I'll let you take over. I've been listening over the last couple of years to MAGA defectors, right? And these are people who basically either had a wake-up call on January 6th when they ended up in jail after being identified, or they went to January 6th and couldn't believe like how things went, like that was not why they went there or whatever, or they just had whatever enlightenment happened, they were just like, we are not going to be supporting MAGA anymore. And one of the things that keeps coming up for them is how they joined MAGA, much like people joined the Klan, because they were seeking community and brotherhood. So they were invited to go to social events with people. They would go, they just wanted to get out the house. They wanted to hang out with friends or whatever the situation was. And they're going to these events. And that's when all of this kind of rhetoric starts talking. They're drinking beers, they're having shot practices, whatever it is. The community is what's building. The politics are actually secondary or tertiary. And so that's how these pockets, started growing around the country. It was really like the male loneliness epidemic, right? Lonely men primarily, seeking community. A lot of the women come in through the church, right, and the religious stuff. But a lot of the men were just like, I'm going to hang with the bros. And it kind of grew to them being part of MAGA. And then they could go online, find community, all that kind of stuff. But when you're in that moment, Dr. Hall, what was going on with them from your perspective?
So in psychology, we talk about the term groupthink, which is this idea that when people feel their identities are threatened, right, or their way of life is threatened, or they can essentially get into an us versus them dynamic. And so in that moment, one of the things that Trump has been very good at doing is, once again, pushing the part of America that feels disenfranchised, that feels cut off from the halls of power, and stoking their fear and anxiety about feeling left behind. And so on that day, he had been doing it for weeks too, the challenging the election, making it seem as if something was taken from them. And that's been the playbook of the Republican Party for the last 40 years. That something's been taken from you. Brown people probably took it. Brown people, weirdos, took it. The LGBTQ community, the Black Lives Matter community, the trans community is taking from you, and it's very easy to convince them by virtue of that they have a right to, right, the American dream, the happiness is being taken from them. And so through his rallies, through his rhetoric, he fomented this crowd to the point where and I think we can call it lynching because they wanted to hang Mike Pence.
They wanted to hang Mike Pence.
A lynching is when you want to hang a person because they've upset you. And as a person who comes from Cincinnati, Ohio, which was once not necessarily the lynching capital of the world, but it was definitely it's a town that loves a good riot. Historically, going back to centuries, there are these times in the story of America where you get a white mob upset and they want to burn it all down. We see it now in, like I said, in sports environments where the team wins or the team loses and they trash the stadium or flip cars over. But traditionally, historically, we would see that when, say, a black person was accused of a crime and they didn't feel like the justice was getting done, so they would pitchforks. In Cincinnati, they
pull them out of the jail. Like they would pull people out of the jail because they didn't believe that justice was going to be served.
In Cincinnati, they burned the courthouse down 3 times on 3 different occasions over 3 different years or within decades of each other because they felt like justice wasn't being done. And in each case, there was a black person involved, and they burned down the entire courthouse in an attempt to do mob justice. Now, traditionally, we've gotten away from that type of justice until January 6th, where it was reminded that it is still within us as creatures. And if we don't do something about it, I'm sorry. I'm going to back up. We didn't do anything about it. And now we are where we are as a nation, where the president thinks he can just kidnap a world leader without consequence.
Are you jumping the gun? Are you jumping the gun here?
Sorry, I'm just drawing some parallels.
It's all together. It's all together. So thank you for that. And so here's the thing, folks. Since January 6th, and I want to give credit to Linnea Holno Stukno. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name, lady. Sophia Barrica Hernandez and Alyssa Mayman, they have been compiling a list. They set up Google alerts for all the people that were pardoned from January 6th, because all these people got arrested. They were identified. Obviously, these videos, it's very easy to identify. One thing about, white protesters, at least those who have not really been educated, they don't know how to cover their faces. Like, I just thought it was really stupid to go down there and not wear, a shiesty. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Like, ain't no way I'm going down there. You ain't gonna see my face.
Right.
Okay. All right. So they were identifying all these people. They were able to arrest so many of them, sentence them, right? Trump decided to pardon all of them. There are actually some people who rejected the pardon, and in their regret and their remorse for what happened, they decided to serve their terms, right? And I remember watching this one story of a woman, she served her time and then she got into community service. She's completely rejected everything. It happens, right? And I'm one of those people, again, you guys have heard me say this before. I believe in, recovery, and I believe that people can be restored. It's just up to them if they want to do it. I don't believe we have to completely throw people away, especially when they show that they're trying to do something different and they're trying to be different, right? Where's the grace? Right. But they have this report where they found at least 33 of the January 6th insurrectionists who have been pardoned have been rearrested. Okay. And this has been since January 6th of 2021. Okay. Let me tell you what some of these are. I'm looking at a list of it, folks. I'm not going to put it on the screen. I'm just going to tell you what some of these charges have been. Joshua Dylan Haynes, malicious bodily injury, strangling, assault on a family member, destruction of property. Andrew Taki solicited a minor. David Daniel, possession of child sexual assault material and sexual exploitation of a minor. Kyle Travis Colton, receipt of child sexual assault material. Theodore Middendorf, sexual assault of a child. Kenny Brian Lazo, aggravated sexual battery of a child under 13. Let's see. Brian Bedenker Battisti, contempt of an anti-stalking order. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Gia Liu, LIU. Okay. Conspiracy to defraud the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and conspiracy to commit forgery. Okay. Dylan Colby Harrington, first-degree rape. Joseph Martin Pastucci, rape and sexual assault. Okay. Do you notice? Oh, wait. John Banuelos, aggravated kidnapping and aggravated sexual assault. Andrew Paul Johnson, child molestation and lewd or lascivious behavior to a child under 16. Those are just some of them, right? Do we notice a theme here? Right? Now, let's connect that to the fact that our current president is starting a new World War III to avoid us finding out what else is in these 5 million Epstein files.
I mean, who has time to talk about files when you're going to war?
And this part, yes, they were obsessed with Pizzagate. But remember, I've said before, folks, that Pizzagate, technically is real. It's just not where they thought it was, right?
I mean, yeah.
They're still thinking.
If 2 million documents can be believed, it was happening the whole time. There was a system.
It wasn't in the pizza shops.
Right. It was on an island.
It was on an island. It was at resorts. It was happening. And so they weren't wrong. They were just misdirected. And so we have to look at this, right? And we have to talk about the prevalence of these kinds of men with these ideologies sexually violating children. So remember, I've said before that, they always say an accusation is a confession, but further than that, people will protect and defend people they see themselves in, right? Yeah. So when you think about all the defenders of R. Kelly,
versus them,
yes, when you think of all the defenders of an R. Kelly, for example, many of those men had violated, minors. Many were minors who were violated, but don't want to accept it as a violation, right? The trauma, accepting that what R. Kelly did was wrong would be an acceptance that something bad happened to me, right? And so you have these people who look at Donald Trump and they're like, I see myself in him. So I'm going to defend him because he's a proxy for me defending myself. Now, out of 33 people, Dr. Hall, let's see, that was, let's count. Let's see, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, 6, 7. 7 out of 33, Dr. Hall, that's a lot of people. That's like a quarter. That's like a quarter of them. 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
And that kind of aligns with, these are statistics about sexual assault, right? And sexual violence and that kind of thing. So this is what we do. And as somebody who, for me, I always tell people, I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you want to keep your finger on the pulse of society, check out what porn categories are popular.
Yes.
Because that's how you learn how people really are.
Yeah.
people joke around. They see those, like, they'll show those United States and what's the most popular part in each state, and they'll joke about that.
Yeah.
But it's actually like real when you go in and you look at the categories. What are the most popular categories? You go to any site right now and you look up, quote, stepdaughter porn or stepdaughter or whatever, you're going to see tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of videos.
It's more popular than it should be in a society that says it's emotionally or sexually healthy.
Right, because, and it's not just white men, but we know that over 70% of the people convicted of possessing and distributing child sexual assault material are white men, right? And the majority of the people convicted of trafficking human beings are Black men, right? Mm-hmm. So we know that there's something, when you have I
said there's a disparity?
Because we know that the majority of the purchasers are white men, right? But the people convicted of the trafficking are largely Black men. But it's also a group with, that really aspires to white maleness, right? Because of colonization and all of those things, right? It's power. That's what they want.
When's my turn?
So,
at power.
You know what? I don't want you to say that.
Oh, sorry.
Even if it's like you're being funny.
Yeah. My apologies. I was just aping the mindset a little bit.
I'm messing with you. So that's what we're dealing with. 5 years later, we are looking at these issues. So look, I want us to look at Jack Smith. Jack Smith, special attorney, whatever, blah blah blah. Let's look at he had a testimony about January 6th that finally got released, right? And that's also what a lot of this is about, right? It's about Trump avoiding us paying attention to this testimony, right? So let's look at that real quick.
I can't hear it. Can you hear it?
Oh, hold on.
And that he exploited it, and that it was.
Hold on. Sorry, y'all. Let me see what's going on. Uh-oh. Could y'all hear it in the chat? Yes, no? I need to see if people were able to hear it, because it might have just been you.
It could have been.
Oh.
Nope, they couldn't hear it either.
Okay. All right. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I don't know why that didn't.
But you don't have any evidence that he instructed people
to
crash the Capitol, do you? Did you develop
what about now?
President Trump was responsible for the violence at the Capitol on January 6th?
So our view of the evidence was that he caused it, and that he exploited it, and that it was foreseeable to him.
But you don't have any evidence that he instructed people to crash the Capitol, do you?
As I said, our evidence is that he, in the weeks leading up to January 6th, created a level of distrust. He used that level of distrust to get people to believe fraud claims that weren't true. He made false statements to state legislatures, to his supporters, in all sorts of contexts, and was aware in the days leading up to January 6th that his supporters were angry when he invited them, and then he directed them to the Capitol.
Well, Dr. Hall, that's what they want to avoid.
Actual accountability?
That they want to avoid us finding this stuff out, us reading this transcript, us seeing, this special counsel being like, he did it.
Yeah.
Because their whole argument was that Trump's not responsible for how they reacted. Now, we were all there. We were all watching that day. It was a whole thing. We all tuned in. We all heard him, basically telling them to do this, right?
Yes.
But they tried to say, well, no, he didn't. He
never instructed. He never gave specific, he has to give specific instructions. But the idea that he does not have power in his voice, the types of things that he says and intimates and encourages, that he has no responsibility for that. because it doesn't fit the narrative that he's always a person who talks between the lines. Like he's traditionally done that. And so his followers knew what he wanted. They showed up and they did what he wanted. And then he didn't even do anything about it as it was unfolding. He never acted in any way presidential in any of these moments. And he could have been held accountable for it.
Some other things that came out of it, this is from The Independent in the UK. I really don't like American mainstream media, legacy
American
media.
can't be trusted right now.
It is so, like, and I'm not saying that the UK is all that much better, but I do know that foreign presses tend to, say more than what we'll say. Like, for example, the death toll in Venezuela after the strikes, none of the outlets said that it was at least 80 people, right? You had to go and find this from Al Jazeera. But anyway, so some things he said that Trump's actions without question added to the danger faced by Vice President Mike Pence, who was in the Capitol during the riot and was targeted by Trump supporters, some of them chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." We all heard them say it. Okay. Then the Supreme Court's ruling on the executive immunity was not an affirmation, in Smith's opinion, that the president's conduct leading up to January 6th was legal. Smith's case relied heavily on the testimony of Republicans who put their allegiance to the country before the party. Okay, so that's another thing, is that, like, Republicans were like, "Nah, they was trying to kill us, son." Like, we was there. Yes. Nah, this ain't cool, right?
Kill everybody.
The president's demand that Georgia officials find more than 11,000 votes was seen by Smith as evidence of criminal intention.
Yes.
And then Smith had no doubt that the president sought political retribution against him for filing these cases. Okay. So the thing about Jack Smith is that he's doing what so many others are too scared to do. Right. He gave this testimony, literally risking his life, because now we see the goon. We know the goon that is in the office.
Right.
If the Epstein files teach us anything, is that there's possibility that he's capable of, some deleting of people.
Hey,
okay.
Some people speak up, don't make it.
Don't make it.
I mean,
like Diddy.
Yeah.
People around Diddy, just a lot of them mysteriously died or ended up in jail. I'm not saying,
It might not even be him. It's the people protecting him. The oligarchs who benefit from his being there might be assisting. I mean, because we got here somehow. Somebody cut a check. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody in the chat said, put the allegedly banner. I got to put the allegedly banner. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Do we have
Thank you for reminding me. Not trying to get popped.
Yeah. No. I would never risk my own life for these.
Right. No. And so it said, our investigation developed proof beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump engaged in criminal scheme to overturn the results of the 2020 election and to prevent the lawful transfer of power. That is the most damning thing. Again, this is an independent special counsel investigating this entire thing. And this independent, which they insisted upon, he comes back and says, "No, he did it.
Water is wet. Water is wet."
Like he did it.
Yeah, as we all know, he did it.
Right. He did it. So there was that. All right. So January 6th, we were commemorating that the downfall. That was the beginning of the downfall, right?
Yeah.
Like, if we want to be honest, like,
I mean, the escalator was the beginning. Opening his campaign with "they're sending us rapists and they're sending us criminals" was the beginning. A decade downfall. But that was definitely like.
I mean, we could argue and say that the downfall began in the 1600s, but we're just being
America.
We're just being modern and being technical here. I would say that the January 6th, January 6th insurrection is where we can put a pin in the beginning of the fall of this empire, right?
Yes.
First of all, in the video, we saw the cops taking selfies, right? We know how many right-wing racist cops there are. They were probably supporting it. Second, the idea that they were negotiating with them. If hundreds of thousands of Black people and Latino people and, an Asian left, whatever, came to storm the Capitol, you think them crack-ass cops would be negotiating with them?
Can I tell a story?
Yeah.
I used to work for a university out here in the Midwest, and I sat in 2 different meetings. In the first meeting, we discussed BLM, having a protest on campus. And in that meeting, they went over all the specifications for what was and was not allowed by BLM protesters on that campus. That they were not allowed to cross the street onto the actual campus, that they were not allowed to raise their noise above a certain volume. There were so many restrictions placed upon this one protest. It was an hour-long meeting. Several weeks later, we have a individual protester who wants to come up on the campus with an assault rifle. This person was going to get a police escort. He was going to be allowed to walk onto the campus unimpeded because he had rights in this country to do that. He was not a student of that university. He was just a person who was going around the country trying to start problems. So I learned in those meetings that if you're a Black person and you have an opinion about this country or the campus you're on, then suddenly all these restrictions show up and you are treated as a criminal and given, walk the line or else there will be swift consequences. But if you're a person who fills out the right paperwork and brings a gun onto a college campus, then you might be given a red carpet treatment.
Yeah.
So yes, I completely believe that if it had been 7 Black people that showed up at the Capitol,
they would have just shot them. They would have shot them. Straight up, sniper. That's it. It's done.
Yeah, but because of white people who reminded you of Tristan's and your Jacobs
and your sons.
Yeah,
and your sons. Yeah. So let's look at Venezuela.
Go ahead, do the hat. I got personal stakes in this. Like, I know people from Venezuela. Like, this is tragic.
Tinfoil hat time, folks.
Do it.
You hear it here first. You're gonna hear some theories. You're going to hear some ideas that you may not agree with. You may not fully understand. But I got to share some thoughts.
Let's do it.
All right. So, President Maduro. We're going to call him president. People down there call him president. We're going to call him president. Listen, it's already started. Because I saw a video of people in Caracas where they were saying, nuestra presidente, that is our president. Okay, so hey, not for me to say one way or the other. All right. There's people who, when Donald Trump was not president, when Biden was president, there were people who refused to accept that Donald Trump was not president. Okay, their entire time. We had people testifying in the chambers, the House chambers, who refused to say that Joe Biden was the duly elected president of the United States. They maintained that for 4 years. So forgive me, Dr. Hall, if I don't care about anything them saying about him illegitimately elected, not the real president or anything, because this country did the same thing.
Not my president.
Pete Hegseth, the secretary of the Department of Defense. It's not war. We're not calling it war on this thing, but the Department of Defense, he's one of them people. Okay.
A denier.
And so you don't get to say anything about whether or not a president is legitimately elected when you could not acknowledge and accept that Biden was elected. I'm just putting that out there.
I mean, they tried really hard to overthrow it, though. I mean, come on. Do you want to admit that loss, or?
So here's the thing, right? So he's Presidente Maduro. That's what we're gonna call him. He, the United States claimed that they captured him. Dr. Hall, I don't believe that for 1 second.
No,
don't believe it for 1 second.
You don't want to call it a capture?
No, and here's why. We have to look at this historically. We have to look at this globally. Okay, the United States and Venezuela have at times been like this. At times been like this.
Yes.
This has been the relationship, right? Because of the oil. Right? Any nation on this planet, any land on this planet that has significant, valuable natural resources has been subjected to attempts at colonization, overthrow, grabbing, all this stuff like that because of greed. People want to steal resources.
We're still doing that.
It's so weird, but it's still weird. Because all you could do, because you know what? If you would just partner with people and, I don't know, buy the oil from them.
Commerce. You say the capitalism works, right? You just
like we used to do.
Right.
Like we've done for for
just
the longest
do
time.
capitalism, right?
We just buy the oil.
Do a capitalism. That's what it's for. That's what it's supposed to be for.
Texas oil barons, into the chat, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so we've had that kind of relationship, and I think that's important for people to know because the current propaganda is that we've always had issues with Venezuela, we've always been against dictators, we've always been and that is absolutely
we can never say we've always been against dictators. We've kind of propped a few up ourselves, right? I mean, what are we doing?
We've installed a few.
Right. Trained them. Train their armies.
Train their armies. American way. What up, Bin Laden family?
Hey.
What up, Saddam Hussein?
Hey, protect our interests. What are you doing? Not protecting our interests.
Saddam Hussein, we trained his ass to work for us, and then he flipped. Oh no! No.
Can't trust a despot anymore. God,
that's why they had to take him out because he flipped. If he had flipped on us, Saddam Hussein would still be alive today, folks.
Hey, I mean, come on. I ain't gonna bite the hand.
Just saying, I went to school with some of them Saudi folks. I just want to say, the United States educates Saudis, right?
Yeah.
My boarding school has educated a few from the Faisal family. But anyway.
We take anybody's money, they're giving it away.
Sure will. So anyway. So here's what I think is happening. I'm gonna
do it. Let's do it.
I want to summarize this because we got a lot of shit to talk about. Anyway, I'm gonna summarize this. We're already 42 minutes into talking.
We're having a good time. 3-hour show.
The talk that we've been hearing in the last 24 to 48 hours about the Western Hemisphere is important. I don't want anybody to ignore this. We're talking about the world being split between the superpowers, right? Putin wants to keep Russia and expand and reclaim, the Soviet Union. He wants all that land back. China wants Africa. And the United States wants the Western Hemisphere, right? 3 superpowers sectioning off the world and, wanting their dominance. Now, there's one country that has more nuclear weapons than we do. Do you know who that is?
No. Which one is that?
I want you to guess.
Russia?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Russia has like
we had a whole Cold War about it.
Russia has like 45% of all the nukes. We have like 38% of the nukes.
We had a whole Cold War about it.
Russia has more nukes than we do.
It's an arms race.
That makes the U.S. Russia's bitch.
I mean, also they have a president, but who's talking?
Vladimir Putin don't give a goddamn about the U.S.
God, no.
He is not at all threatened by the U.S.
He installed a president.
He installed this stupid ass president to make sure.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Obama kind of talked kind of reckless, and he was like, "Hey,
he was like, hey,
ain't another darky coming over here talking."
Listen, nigga. I bet you, nigger in Russian is nigger.
I mean, come on, with a hard R, such a hard Russian R.
Nigger.
Right, back of the throat. Use your diaphragm. Put your back in it.
Obama was a little out of pocket.
Out of pocket. Talking to me crazy.
Agreement going on here. Picking any.
Hey, who you think you're talking to?
So, Vladimir Putin had to reclaim the United States for himself, right? And it's interesting. It's interesting how MAGA and the GOP pretend, at least. I mean, I think some of them do believe it because they're not very smart, but they pretend that Trump's relationship with Putin is somehow beneficial to the United States or beneficial to anyone but himself.
What so interested me in 2016 after growing up in a Cold War that suddenly we were like, Russia's not our enemy. Wait, what happened? Because I spent most of the bottom half of my life believing that we had movies about it. Like they were the enemy.
Listen, that was the propaganda, right? We grew up at a time where they actually educated people. So we were alive then. We remember Gorbachev.
Right. No.
With the birthmark. What the birthmark?
Yeah,
it looked like the country.
We had drills. They would make you get under your desk and put your head down because at any point Russia could blow us all to pieces. And now here we are.
Now here we are, they're not so bad.
I mean, not so bad.
And here's the fascinating. Now, you guys can go back and watch my video on Ibrahim Traore. I have people saying to me that his parlaying with Russia is not a bad thing. And I'm like, are you mad? Like, you're okay with him bringing Vladimir Putin? Do you know what life is like for Russians? You're okay with him coming in and grabbing a stake of this so-called revolution that Traore is trying to bring about?
I mean,
so anyway, this is what I think happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Donald Trump, remember that meeting they had? I think it was in Anchorage or something like that. They had a meeting, I believe, up in Alaska, right? Am I wrong about the location? They had a meeting.
Yes.
And you saw when they came out the meeting, their faces looked like holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like
this got real. Things got real.
And Putin came out like.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I think what happened, Dr. Hall. Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
I think Putin said, because he said, I'll pull my people out of Venezuela,
mm-hmm.
which he did in December. I don't know if people know that. He pulled all the Russians out of Venezuela. And he's like, you can have Venezuela if you give me Ukraine. So I'll pull my people out of Venezuela if you pull your people out of Ukraine. I expect us to hear about this in the next couple of weeks, that we're pulling troops out of Ukraine, because you notice how for months, the way Trump's been talking to Volodymyr, what's his last name? Zelensky. Yeah. You hear how they've been treating Zelensky. They've been completely disrespectful to him in the Oval Office, everywhere, basically like putting him out there. They just had another thing where they're basically attacking him, making him out to be nothing, and basically saying, F you, Ukraine. And so this is all, to me, a setup for the United States to justify withdrawing troops and arms and all those kinds of things out of Ukraine and allowing Putin to go in and take it over and snatch it back, which is what will happen. Without the support of the U.S. and others, the Ukraine is lost. There's nothing. They have nothing. And Zelensky can go back to Dancing with the Stars or whatever, but they have nothing. And so I think that that's what's happening here. And so I think that the United States agreed that they would take Venezuela. He's agreeing he's going to take Ukraine. And I think this whole thing with Maduro, now this is one of the theories that I have. I have a few, but one of the theories I have is that, Maduro ain't the nicest guy in the world. I'm not going up for Maduro. I'm not. Trust me. I'm not going to, but I'm also not going to be out here. Well, we know he's an illegitimate president and dictator. And all. I'm not going to go into all of that either. I don't need to do all of that. But we know that he's problematic. And all these kinds of heads of states are self-serving. So I think that he surrendered himself. Okay, if we go back a couple of months, if we go back to October, Trump has been talking about, I really just want to get him to surrender himself, right? He wasn't supposed to be saying it, but he was letting it leak out. So I think that's what happened.
The parts he's not supposed to say from his briefing.
Yeah, he's supposed to keep. It's like,
he's not supposed to say parts. They gave him like 7. Do not say oil, Mr. President. Say democracy.
And he said it anyway. Yeah.
God damn it. Yeah. Say democracy.
Yeah. No, like.
Yeah.
He didn't read. He didn't see that the highlighted parts were the parts that you say, and the rest you keep to yourself. No, he doesn't do that. So I think that they negotiated with Maduro for him to surrender. We'll do some political theater. We'll make it seem like we captured him. We'll do a perp walk. We'll do all these things, all the stuff up. We're just going to take him and his wife, part of the negotiation. Can't take my cabinet, which, again, that makes absolutely no sense. First of all, the United States claimed that this is not an act of war, that this is about arresting someone who is a narco-terrorist. That premise is nonsense, because we just found out that the indictment won't stick because they made up the name of a cartel that doesn't exist.
I mean, ChatGPT made it up?
That's what I think happened. I think that they've been using ChatGPT.
Right policy.
Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna see what name they called it. Let's see. So I had it pulled up. Oh, Cartel de los Soles. That's what they said. Is a formal structured drug cartel.
I mean, kind of like Antifa.
And correct. And so they're backtracking This is coming from TRT World. This is out of Turkey. And they're saying, and Turkey says before abducting, right? Because news media is not allowed to say kidnapping. The BBC sent out a presser saying that, to their writers that you can't use kidnapping. Turkey don't give a damn. Turkey said before abducting President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, the U.S. branded a slang term for drug corruption as a terrorist cartel and accused him of leading it. Surprisingly, the indictment omits that claim, right? And so they tried to say that they were describing originally Cartel de los Soles. They have removed it from the indictment because it's not real.
What?
This is bullshit.
You just sprinkle some Spanish in there and most people won't know what it is.
It's like when my students use ChatGPT and it gives it gives fake references and they include the references.
Yeah.
And then I have to go and be like, this is not real. You get a 0. So
except nobody's doing that at a governmental level. There's no Dr. T auditing these.
But this is not the first time. I mean, this is obviously not the first time that this current DOJ has messed up indictments and has gotten information wrong, misspelled words, all kind of stuff. They can't
a lot of cases, but
they're losing so many. Nobody
wasting
ever.
so much of our taxpayer money on
bullshit
and unnecessary bullshit while people are literally starving in the streets and losing their health care.
I mean, they're also putting marble in the White House.
Can I say what I think happened?
What do you think? Well, I wasn't finished fleshing out my idea, but
go ahead, you flesh out your idea.
And so I think that he surrendered himself because I do believe that Hegseth, not Trump, and probably Miller, they threatened to ambush and rain down strikes on Venezuela to kill massive amounts of people in an effort to steal their oil. And they let them know, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to kill all these people. And if you don't surrender yourself, this is what's going to happen. And so I think in some ways that, not necessarily martyring himself because he knows they have nothing on him, but more like, all right, I'll come in. Don't kill the people. That's what I think happened because it only took him. They did not take his cabinet. How do you take him? Yeah. How do you take him and leave everybody else?
Leave the entire regime in place. Yes.
This is exactly like people are like, oh, Trump will die. We're like, yeah, but if he dies, there's Vance, there's Miller, there's still Hegseth, there's still Bondi, there's still all these other people. Right. Still Mike Johnson, who we haven't heard from.
There's a whole team.
There's a whole team. So it doesn't really matter. If you're talking about a cartel that you're saying is nationalized, then you want to get rid of all the national figures that you believe are involved in it.
Yes.
But they didn't do that. So what's your theory, Dr. Hall? Please lay it on us.
So 2 things. One, I'm going to say my legitimate theory. I have read somewhere, and I cannot remember where, that Maduro wanted out of the country, period. And so they're just going to, not necessarily pardon him, but just like he's either going to walk away.
Because Rodriguez was in Russia.
Yeah. So he's just going to, he's going to walk away from this, not necessarily unscathed, but like, on a big pot of money. He's going to not make it. Which is also possible. And what I think happened was Trump was sad because people keep saying bad things about him. And they were like, hey, do you want to go blow up a country? And Stephen Miller was like, it'll be a brown country. And Trump was like, hooray. And they gave him applesauce and put him in front of a TV with some curtains behind him and let him watch the troops go do a thing and made him feel like a general.
And they probably said like, he knew the Jack Smith thing was being released. The Epstein file thing has, first of all, one of the updates for stuff related to the Epstein files is that they had until January 3rd to provide the evidence of why they redacted certain things. And they haven't done that.
Like days ago?
That was like 3 days ago. And they have not done that. They have not provided, they did not provide justification for all the redactions. They were supposed to do that. So now they're basically like in contempt of the order. Okay. So there's that.
What does it mean?
Nothing anymore. What is law? There is no law.
So it was hilariously, like I literally had this conversation today. I was talking with someone who's talking about like ways to challenge the DEI and SB1 issues in the state of Ohio. And basically what he's doing is trying to like test the locks of what is the thing he can say is the egregious overreach, because they've legislated in a way that is inexact and yet all the universities have been sensitive. And I was like, what's funny about this is you're walking around like a raptor testing the locks on the institution when the guy in charge of the country is a rhino. Nobody's erected a wall for him. He just keeps busting through walls. And at some point we're thinking someone should like cage him, right? But like nobody wants to cage him. And I just hope that the 7 oligarchs.
Because people die when they try to test Trump. People die, they disappear. He is a mobster.
I just hope that the 7 oligarchs who paid for the country are happy, because the rest of us are going to be miserable for a very long time. And I hope that they're so well protected.
And not just that. He has an entire army of people in MAGA who are willing to do his bidding at any moment.
Yeah.
They kill elected officials. Like,
yeah.
They bomb people's houses. Like, they don't care.
Threaten people. Yes.
They threaten people, burn
Yeah.
people's houses. Like, this is what they do. He doesn't even have to do much of anything.
Yeah.
They'll act for him.
Yes.
So it's scary now. A lot of people talk about why aren't the Dems doing anything? And I'm like, y'all have noticed that, like, they're like severely injuring people. Nancy Pelosi's husband got hammered through the head, and they make jokes about it on Fox News, right? What was the couple, Holman or something like that?
Yeah.
Horman or something like that. Yeah. They, you know, Tim Walz is stepping down now, probably because he's got incredible death threats, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially they were harassing his son, driving by their house, like honking horns, throwing things and stuff, intimidating them. Like, they're scared for their families. And they're like, I didn't get into politics to have my life threatened by some child sexual abusers.
Right. And if we want to draw a direct line back to January 6th, that was when I realized, like, oh, I guess if you have enough white people, you can storm any place in America. The things we consider safeguards aren't really there. And so why would they feel safe and protected when they were literally at work and a bunch of white people showed up and stormed the place and they had to flee for their lives?
Who else knew that they had those things underneath their seats? I didn't know that they had those things. That's pretty awesome.
Apparently they're prepared for these outcomes in some way.
It was the Hartmans. It was the Hartmans. Yes. I don't want to get their name wrong. Thank you for helping us out. But let's watch this real quick.
Go ahead. Let's watch it.
Because Trump is saying that, you know.
Saying things.
Here we go. He's always saying things. Okay, let's see.
Let's bring in Kristen Welker now, moderator of Meet the Press, for more on her exclusive conversation with President Trump. Kristen, good morning to you. A number of questions here, Kristen. First of all, how long, who's in charge, and what role will the United States play in Venezuela? What did the president tell you about those 3 questions specifically?
Well, Craig and Chanel, President Trump said a number of his top officials will be involved in overseeing Venezuela, from the Secretary of State to the Vice President. But when I asked him who ultimately is in charge, he said me. Now, it was also notable, despite those initial tensions with the interim president, President Trump said, quote, I do get the sense that they're cooperating. They need help. Another key takeaway, he gave me new insight. You talked about the timeline, Craig, into his thinking about the timeline. I asked him if elections could be held within 30 days, and he said, no, it's going to take a period of time. We have to nurse the country back to health. So really,
the hubris of this.
seeming there to try to brace the U.S. for the possibility there could be a bit of a prolonged presence.
Speaking of timelines, you also asked the president about whether he has his sights on other surrounding countries.
I just want to point out that all these people are Black. I love it. I just want to say, okay.
What was his strategy and timeline on that going forward?
Yeah, great question, Chanel. Well, the president wouldn't give me a specific timeline in that regard. He did, though, make it very clear that he's watching countries like Cuba and Colombia very closely, sharply critical of those countries' leaders and rampant drug trafficking. Now, on Cuba, he said he thinks the country is so unstable it could actually fall on its own, largely because Cuba relies so heavily on Venezuelan oil. And perhaps most notably, I asked him if he's serious about his threats to take Greenland, which is, of course, a territory of Denmark. Gabe just talked about that. He told me he thinks Greenland is very important for the national security of the United States, Europe, and parts of the free world. The Danish prime minister says any.
Okay, so I want to stop that there because we are going to talk about Greenland, but also, U.S. imperialism relies so heavily on paternalism, right? This idea that the US is the sole arbiter of what freedom is and what democracy is, and no one else gets it, no one else understands it, no one else is good enough at it. The United States has to come in and do it. Like,
what are we doing?
If I didn't know better, I would think the United States is an Aries. Because we don't trust nobody to do nothing because you never get it right. But you know, it's really interesting. Okay, let's watch this clip too.
What are we even doing anymore?
Let's listen to this one.
About the situation in Venezuela following the U.S. military operation over the weekend. It is clear that the operation undermined a fundamental principle of international law, that states must not threaten or use force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. The U.S. has justified its intervention on the grounds of the Venezuelan government's long-standing and appalling human rights record. But accountability for human rights violations cannot be achieved by unilateral military intervention in violation of international law. The people of Venezuela deserve accountability through a fair, victim-centered process.
Okay. So, you know, thinking about like and that's kind of reflecting what the world is thinking, right? Because the world is looking like, no, y'all really didn't just go do that. Like, no, you didn't. Like, I think that's what a lot of the reaction is like, oh no, because we also have officials saying, yeah, we can do this anywhere we want to. Like, they're going on record and saying that the United States has the right to control the Western Hemisphere.
Yes.
To protect United States citizens from threats from other people. Dr. Hall, when was the last time we had a credible threat from outside of this country? And you cannot name 9/11 because that was an inside job.
Credible threat to the continent. The British? Oh, no. There was a war. France and what was that? French and Indian War? Maybe. Ain't
nobody trying to come over here and do nothing. Like, what? The only people that you're concerned about are Russia and China.
No. I could build a case that the Latinos to the south of us are all druggists and rapists and are trying to invade the country, and so to get rid of their drugs and raping, we can bomb them, I guess. Yes. To control the Western Hemisphere.
Yes, this idea that the United States has to control the entire Western Hemisphere. They should put a period there because that's all it is. It has nothing to do with drugs. They love drugs. The United States loves drugs, and the United States needs these drugs. Like, the United States has a direct pipeline from places like Colombia and others to get the drugs. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
they funded our CIA using cocaine.
I was there. I was at Pablo Escobar's house. I like, they need the drugs. So it's never about the drugs. They need the drugs. If they say they took over a boat and they found 1,000 tons of coke, they found 2,000, and 1,000 they kept and 1,000 they report. The United States needs the drugs.
Dope on the table.
It's never about drugs.
Yes, but people hate drugs, so no.
Military force. No. Okay. Nobody in the Western Hemisphere is.
Why make all those bombs if you can't use them sometimes?
We know that the United States is unmatched, right? Again, only people with more nukes than us are Russia.
Papa Russia.
Even what we've been sending to Ukraine hasn't been helping Ukraine. That's a crazy thing to me. So we are dealing right now with the world being like, holy shit.
Because you don't do this in a civilized nation. Like, we've been doing pretty well.
We've been doing all right. A civilized nation, civilized world. This is not how we act. So people are scared. But also,
in a global economy, you don't do this.
Now, remember that scene in The Color Purple? Where they're sitting at the Thanksgiving. It's an amazing movie.
Amazing. Thank you, Spielberg, for what you did for our culture.
Come on,
hey,
shout it out. Jewish Black solidarity. Shout out.
Hey, there you go.
They're sitting there, and Celie says, that's okay, because me and my family, we all gonna come around and we gonna whoop your ass. I made a meme about that. It's so funny because that's all I can think about is right now the United States is incredibly vulnerable because of this administration. We have like literally, I call them his bumbling band of inglorious bastards. They're just dumb.
Yes.
They are incompetent.
Yes.
Like this is what happens when you remove DEI. You end up with mediocre whiteness, uneducated. You end up with social media influences as the press secretaries.
Yeah.
Kingsley Cortez is the press secretary for the Pentagon. Have we heard from her at all?
I don't know.
No, because Hegseth
does his own PR.
He does his own PR, and she's just there to be because he wants an intern like Slick Willie. They all want to have their little interns, their little cute interns walking around, and so that's why she's there. She's there to be eye candy, but there's no way in hell they're going to allow her to stand in front of a press corps and answer questions about what happened in the Pentagon. She's like 27 years old, and she's never had a job in her life.
I mean,
her father was a Fox News commentator and a colleague of Pete Hegseth. That's how she is the Pentagon press secretary.
I mean, they need
not someone with a PhD from Harvard, not someone who has studied international relations and politics, not anybody with a master's in military science or anything like that. No, my friend's daughter, I'm gonna give her a job. Like it's a summer job. That's what you do for summer jobs. You don't do that for one of the most important forward-facing positions in the world.
Who said it's important?
Listen. Well, it doesn't matter anymore because they put a ban on the media reporting anything other than what they're saying that they can report, which is what we call what, Dr. Hall? What is that called when you prevent a free press and you dictate what is published?
Is that a fascism?
That's called a fascism.
Are we doing a fascism?
We are absolutely doing a fascism.
Full fascism.
And so the press corps, all the Main Street folks, they left. They were like, "Oh hell, we're not going to do this." Fox News was even like, "Nah, we're not doing this." So there's no need for a press secretary if there ain't no press.
I mean, not legitimate press. Why do you need a press secretary? There's no legitimate press.
It's just a bunch of bloggers, right?
You just forward emails. You just forward emails at that point.
What they call new media. Somebody said, imagine if Canada jumped us. We'd smoke the shit out of Canada. Like, let's be real. I'm not even shitting on Canada. I'm just saying the United States will smoke Canada.
Yeah.
In like 3 days. It will take nothing.
I mean, in a nation as corrupt as this, like there's a lot of criminality happening. I'm pretty sure. Like none of it stopped. The drugs are still flowing, and I think yes.
Well, that's what they said. They said that they passed no real legislation this entire year.
They haven't done any real work. They've done zero work. They were in office for 87 days. 87 days out of the 365 days of this year. That's such a small percentage of the days to be working. Less than a third of the days.
Less than a third of the days.
They've done no work. To be at the office and to not pass any
ineffective.
Because breaking things is harder than solving problems. Or it's easier. Breaking things is easier than solving problems.
He said the missiles from Korea might just reach us. Yep, and then the United States will go and extinguish Korea. Okay, so here's the thing. This is why the U.S. can do what it does.
It's a prisoner's dilemma.
As much as, we laugh at Hegseth talking about the most lethal ever, Kamala also said the most lethal fighting force. Like, that's the shit that gets to me. It's like, you're all mad at Pete Hegseth going on and changing it to the Department of War and talking about how they were the most lethal, force on the planet. Kamala Harris said the exact same thing, and y'all wanted to vote for her. So again, when y'all start talking about this, she wouldn't have done it. Get the hell out of my face. I mean, that's exactly what they were going for.
She would have done it. She would have just done it differently.
She would have gotten Congress approval. It would have been the same shit.
I mean, maybe that's what we were aiming for the whole time. We were going to go to war this year.
Of course we were. Of course we were. And so...
did we talk about they need to renegotiate oil prices because of the American economy tanking?
Yes. No, we have not talked about that. You want to say it again?
So part of the problem was Venezuela was negotiating outside of us after us controlling its oil reserves for so long. They were stacking oil reserves without selling them, and the threat was that they would start selling them outside the U.S. dollar when the U.S. dollar is bolstered by oil sales. It's sold in U.S. dollars. And so if they had been allowed to continue selling them, selling oil futures and oil barrels, it would have tanked the U.S. economy. So at some point, we had to do something.
Because China just ditched, earlier this year, let's not forget that China ditched the dollar. And several years ago, and I mentioned this back in 2017, that China was dumping our bonds, which they were owning our bonds, and like Japan was still left, and Japan decided that they wanted to start doing. Again, the United States economy is on the verge of collapse because of all of this international stuff. A lot of people are focused on the fact, I go to the grocery store and prices are higher, and I understand that. But the larger issue is that the world is abandoning the U.S. economy. They are abandoning the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar is not being backed up by any gold or oil futures or what have you. That's why the inflation is what it is. It has no value. The dollar has no real value. So actually, let me look up the exchange rate on the U.S. dollar to the euro.
And if there's one thing Venezuela could teach us, it's what happens when inflation goes rampant in our country. And you don't know day to day.
The U.S. dollar is only 0.86 euro. Okay, that's the lowest it's been in like a very long time. Last time I went to Europe I did a multi-country tour in Europe in 2018. It was basically 1-to-1. Okay, so now
it's to 1-to-1. The fact that they switched to the euro was challenging to the U.S. dollar. But now to be so far below, if we get below 50 cents, we're cooked. We're
cooked. And let me see what the pound rate is. And it's 0.74 for the pound. So,
God.
Wait, there's one more I need to look because I know that this is a big one. South Africa. Let's see. The South African rand. Hold on, because I remember going there and I was balling out of control. Hold on. 17 per dollar. That's because it was like 18 when I went there. So it's still pretty bad. But the euro is more valuable than the US dollar. The pound has always been higher, but this is what we're not. When you say people not talking about stuff, the economists are talking about it. Folks are talking about it on other spaces, but in terms of the mainstream media, this is not necessarily the conversation that is being had. And the reason why is because we're being distracted by all of this bullshit, these strikes. They've been striking the Caribbean, like unilaterally striking the Caribbean, killing innocent people. They've killed Trinidadians, Cubans, like everything. Tobagans, everybody. They've been just killing people, just randomly killing people. And what does the Prime Minister of TNT go and say? We love the U.S. We love the U.S. We appreciate the support of the U.S. We want the United States to continue to support Trinidad and Tobago. And we got hundreds of thousands of Trini in the U.S. and we don't want them coming back here. Which that was the part that was silent, actually, because that's the truth, right? Is that TNT does not have the infrastructure to have Donald Trump deport 300,000 Trini folk back to their homeland. So of course, Trini is like, no, we love you. Please, we're not going to do anything bad. We're good. We have a great relationship with you. Please don't deport our people because we can't take them. We can do one carnival a year. And that messes up and destroys our ecosystem every single year. We can only do that once. We cannot have all those people coming back. Right? And so I'm very interested, going back to the Venezuela thing, hundreds of thousands of people from Venezuela are currently in the United States. In October, and they had temporary protected status. In October, the United States removed that temporary protected status. And that's why it's important to pay attention to the timelines of these things. They're going to send them home. Or they're going to kick them out. Now they may end up going to places like Spain, right? There's a big contingent in Madrid, which makes sense because Spain is one of the most racist nations on the planet, and Madrid is a horribly, horribly anti-black, anti-brown city. Like, it's just really bad. So it makes sense. It makes sense that these people who would every time people ask, well, oh my God, a third of Latinos voted for. No, these are not Latinos. These are white people from Venezuela, white people from Cuba, white people from these countries. Their ancestors came over either via Spain or came after the World War II, the fascists that came over, Russian fascists. There's a huge Israeli population in South America that settled down there. Like, people have to really look into this. There are fascist pockets all throughout Argentina and Venezuela, all these other places. These are white people. I don't care if your last name is Gonzalez or Hernandez or anything. You are white.
Well, Marco
and you are right, or Rubio or Cruz or whatever.
Yeah.
Carmen Diaz is Cuban. That's the whitest bitch on the planet. These are white people.
They've been given access to
white supremacy.
Yeah.
Freaking Machado. Let's talk about Machado because we got to see this shit. Where's she at? Hold on, because goddamn. Let me make sure that I pull this up because she was oh, here we go. Hold on. Oh no, that's not it. Hold on. Let's see. Machado. Okay. So let's watch this video, y'all. Hold on. Let me share this video real quick. Okay. Hold on. Let me make sure that I have this.
Did that actually happen? I had read that somewhere. I wasn't sure if it was true.
Well, it hasn't happened yet, but I certainly would love to be able to personally tell him that we believe the Venezuelan people, because this is a prize of the Venezuelan people, certainly want to give it to him and share it with him. What he has done, as I said, is historic. It's a huge step towards a democratic transition. And
okay, so I just want everybody to hear that she said she's willing to share the Nobel Peace Prize with him. But hold on. It gets better, Dr. Hall. It gets better, Dr. Hall. Here's why. I'm going to show you. Where's my son texting me? Hold on. What's up, baby? No, I did not call you. I did not call him. Okay. So I'm going to show you all this. I wonder if my son is using drugs. Anyway. So I had said, and I know it says one day, but that's because I screenshot it. I had said this a while ago. I said this is another moment when being a New Yorker who was there in the 1980s and 90s and experienced Trump's narcissism and watched how the media ridiculed him to death comes in handy. Machado stole his Nobel Peace Prize. This is also payback, folks. He has a grudge. She won the prize. He won the country. That is how Don the mobster operates. Republicans in Florida are saying that she is the rightful leader, mainly because she represents the right-wing racist opposition. Trump said, nah, and I said she'd have to officially turn it over to him for him to even consider letting her have that spot. She'd have to get the Nobel board to officially change it. And I said, these are white people, stop calling them brown, et cetera, et cetera. Dr. Hall, I called it. I said it. And people, it comes off as facetious, but I was just like, no, this is what would have to happen in order for this to kind of go away. There's no way he was going to put her in power. No. He is a bitch. But I'm just saying.
Allegedly.
Never getting him monetized.
Not this way.
Not this way. But I called this, as I've been calling everything else. This is why I say, listen, they get that white man, Aaron Parnas, an aggregator. That man gets tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. He got a Substack where like he's getting his minimum is like $6 something change. I think they said, and for order for him to clear $5 a month, he's got thousands of people doing this. I can't even get people to subscribe to my Patreon for $1 a month. You know what I mean?
People.
And it's like, come on. Like I'm sitting here putting these pieces together. I'm doing the thinking for you. Like I am producing news. I'm not associated with any kind of publication, but this is independent news media. I am thinking through these things because I am smart.
Yeah.
I'm a critical thinker. I also understand a lot about world politics. I have studied these things. I went to good schools, Dr. Hall.
I heard.
I've worked with different populations. You can't be a good social worker and work in New York City with a myriad of populations without understanding where these people are coming from.
You got to know people.
And also through the study of African-American history, particularly around revolutionary movements and things like that, this is something that's been coming up, I've been seeing online, and I'm just reminded just how incredibly stupid people are. People saying this ain't got nothing to do with Black people, because there was New York Times posted an article. Of course, people were only reacting to the title, but it was about how Maduro, when he visits New York, he goes to Black churches and things like that. And they're like, they always want to put us in it. And we ain't got nothing to do with this. And why is he? And I'm like, they're like, why is he connecting their struggles to ours? Are you dumb? And you are. And that's the answer is that you are dumb. But also because you're uninformed. And that it's more ignorant than anything else, because there's no way. We're talking over 100 years ago, Red Summer, 1919, it happened because the Black War veterans, World War I veterans, were returning home inspired by the Bolshevik Revolution and all of their ideas about revolution that they were bringing back home and starting to develop their own kind of societies and groups. And it's like, how do we have freedom for ourselves? How do we liberate ourselves? Invisible Man, let's read the books, right? Like, let's talk about this. And because they were starting this, white people's reaction was like, oh, no, you don't. Don't you N-words think that you're actually going to bring that liberation, revolutionary nonsense over here. And they went out of their way to suppress it through violence across this country from coast to coast. Look up the Red Summer of 1919, and you will learn way more about that. But that was inspired. That was inspired by the Bolshevik Revolution. Then if we go to the Panthers, right? They're inspired by African and Latino revolutionaries all the time. They're talking about Che Guevara, talking about Chairman Mao. Like, come on, what do you think? Who do you think they were talking about when they were saying Chairman Mao? Like, this is the stuff that really gets to me. And I'm just like, y'all say y'all know these people. You say you know Asada, and you know Angela, and you know Huey, and you don't know these people because you can talk Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton's one of his most popular speeches is about how you need to learn and you need to educate yourselves.
Yeah.
But we have Black people talking about this ain't our business, ain't got nothing to do with this. Yes, it is. We have always invited revolutionary leaders to come into our spaces to help us learn, to help us achieve liberation and freedom. Just because you don't, because your daddy had a bad Jerry curl, it don't mean that the rest of us did it. And that's where I get really frustrated, because a lot of the discourse and stuff, like today, I had taken a nap and I woke up to all these white Venezuelans basically celebrating the fact that like 80 Venezuelans were killed during the strikes. And I'm just like, well, they support him, so they get what they deserve. And you don't even know who died.
You don't even know who died.
But that's where you're coming from. So no, there is solidarity. Same thing with Palestine, right? We're talking about Palestine, talking about Gaza and the people there. It's like there's always been solidarity. Our revolutionary people were writing about Palestine in the 60s and the 70s. I have the original copy of the Black Panther paper that had the whole thing on the situation in Gaza and Palestine. Like, I'm sorry. Like, and so for someone like me, who has done the reading, I have done the reading. I understand these things. And then you get all the people that's like, well, we need to listen to Venezuelans because they're the only ones who should be talking. Shut the hell up. Shut up. You not knowing anything is fine. You don't have to posture and come on social media and say, we should only be listening to Venezuelans just because you don't know anything. A lot of us actually know stuff, and a lot of us actually study stuff. And if you're only listening to the right-wing, white, racist Venezuelans who are not even in the country,
right?
Because they're in the U.S. and in Miami dancing in the streets after the guy just removed their protected status.
Yeah,
the cognitive dissonance is absolutely insane here.
It is.
I get frustrated, but again, it's like I have these platforms. People could support me if they wanted to.
They should.
But because I am a Black woman, I am automatically seen as somebody who cannot possibly be an authority on these things. I can't possibly be educated about these things.
Didn't we open by saying, as a Black woman in America, you shouldn't trust America?
And that is that, and I understand that there's going to be some people who don't support me because I don't support the Democrats either, right? They expect a Black woman, right? A part of the 89%, because we know it's not 92% after the final count. But we know that 11% of Black women voters did not vote for Kamala Harris. But it's a good assumption. 89% is a lot of people. That's like 9 out of 10 people. So I understand why they would make that assumption. But that's also because they don't pay attention to what I'm saying.
Nuance.
But they would rather give their money to somebody who is going to basically just give them little easy to read 4th grade reading level snippets. It's going to shape the narrative in a way that makes sense for them. Not going to challenge the way that they think about things. Not going to challenge their assumptions. You know, people just want to feel good.
Just a little bit of dopamine. That's all I need.
That's all they need. So when I point out the fact that Kamala Harris also bragged about us having the most lethal
Why are you doing
military force in the world,
why do you
people
do that?
don't want to. The people don't want to support me because I speak the truth.
You're being a contrarian, is what I hear.
That's what they say.
What do they know?
So it would just be really nice if could I get 5,000 subscribers on Patreon? That would be fantastic. You know, just at $1 each. Like that would help me. That would help me pay my bills as I
pay for all the hard work you're doing.
And as I still try to find a full-time job, right? And the fact that it is now January, Dr. Hall, 5 years ago, right now, Dr. Hall, I wouldn't even be able to do political theater because I would be on the road. I would be giving several speeches related to Dr. King Day, right? I have a very good Dr. King speech that I have loved to give. I would be doing that. I'd be prepping for Black History Month, having like 2 or 3 talks per week. I'd be gearing up for Women's History Month in March, 2 or 3 gigs a week, right? I would make the majority of the money that I would need for the year in the first 3 months of the year as a professional public speaker. And because of the elimination of DEI and affirmative action, all the corporations and the schools and the things that would hire me to come speak, the budgets that they had, guess where it came from, Dr. Ha? It came from their DEI funding. So now that they've had to get rid of all of those centers, those diversity centers, they had all their fundings cut. They can't afford to pay me $10,000 to come and give a keynote talk.
No, where's that money gonna come from?
So here I am entering, and I'm just reminded of that. I'm just like, yo, I should not be worrying about money. And 5 years ago, when they stormed the Capitol, I was not worried about that, right? And so the pivot, you know, I have had a Patreon for a while now, but like the pivot towards me doing independent media and kind of doing this stuff is because, like, one, I need an outlet to talk about this stuff because ain't nobody hiring me to come and talk anymore. But also I'm committed to this. Like, I know what I'm talking about. I see things and have been seeing this. I've literally been calling this since 2017. I published a book in 2017 called The Secret of Sugar Water, where the title poem is talking about exactly what is happening right now. And yet, I got to sit here and figure out, okay, well, I got to pay the mortgage. I got to pay the car note. I got to pay my son's tuition. I got to get groceries for, you know, he's home for this month. And I have been to the grocery store like 3 times already, Dr. Hall.
You got a house
2
at home.
weeks.
Yeah.
It's only been 2 weeks.
Hey, he's a big guy. He's full-grown man.
Big dude.
Yeah.
No help from,
hey.
you know.
Yeah, well, hey. I mean,
it is what it is. So as I'm trying to do this, it's like, you look at somebody like, yes, I am bitter. Yes, I am resentful because you look at someone like an Aaron who is a white guy. That is all he needs. That is all he needs to get support, support and money. He is a white guy who aggregates. And people would rather pay their money for that than to just give $1 a month to support someone like me. And that's hard to deal with, Dr. Hall. It's hard.
Working. We all know
how I do. Like, you know, we'll have our group that'll be here in the live, but then people come and they watch this after. Like, people learn after. Like, people will leave comments or they'll send me messages. Like, 3 days from now, somebody will send me $5. It's like, oh, I just discovered political theater. So like, this is important, you know, like all the stuff on threads, but also Dr. Hall, I said, once the semester starts, I'm done with giving threads all of that free information and stuff like that. Listen, if I'm putting my stuff behind my paywalls. Occasionally I'll post something for free on Patreon, but I'm putting it behind my paywalls. If you really are about that life and you really support me, for at least $1, you could do that, you know, like, and if not, if your whole goal is just to get free, you know, content from me, that's not gonna work anymore, because like I am working hard. Like I sit here, I have to put this stuff together, I have to pull all these sources, I have to think about them, I have to give my interpretation, I have to put up with you. Like, I mean,
it's a whole job.
It's a whole job.
It's a whole job.
It's a whole job. And so
much unpaid labor.
Like, it really is. It really is. That's 25 cents a week. And there are people that will say to me, like, you know, I can't afford it, you know, whatever. And I get it, but I know you can. It's 25 cents a week. Like, you know, like I've been homeless. Even in my most destitute times, I can still give somebody 25 cents. So it's that it's people don't want to.
Well, it's about how they think of it.
It's how they think about it, right? And I'm posting things for people to read. So that's number one. You got to read through stuff.
Why are you doing that?
I have a lot of essays on Patreon. Like, honestly, you could go to my Patreon right now, search a topic, and I'm sure you'll find things that I've written about it, right? I make my videos, my my film reviews. I do all kinds of stuff, and it just, I don't know, Dr.
Review of One Battle After Another, available on
Oh my gosh, it's such a great review. Like, I know what I'm talking about, Dr. Hall. However, this is what I will say, y'all. So I'm gonna kind of, I've gotten that out, but I will say this. I do have some good stuff going on. I do have some good news, Dr. Hall.
Good news.
One, I'm about to have a second interview for a tenure track positions. I'm feeling really like good about that. I love to see it too, because I need some health insurance. So part of the fact that I had a 3-hour nap today is because my health is not great. You guys know that. So I've been struggling with a lot of that stuff. I really need this health insurance so that I can, especially because look at what happened with the healthcare, with the marketplace. Dr. Hall, I was going to sign up for Obamacare, and I was like, I can't afford Obamacare. I can't. With everything that's going on, like tens of millions of Americans right now, like they said, what, 14 million Americans right now are asked out because they can't afford to pay the marketplace premiums. So I'm one of those people. But without my treatments, Dr. Hall, I need that 3-hour nap every day, you know, because I can't move. So I'm really looking forward, hopefully, you know, hopefully I get
good vibes. Send out the good
vibes, like, because I really want to get a stable position. And also, I love teaching. I do. I teach all over the place. I'd rather consolidate it into one place. I'd rather be able to build long-term relationships with students and stuff like that. So that would be great. And the other thing, Dr. Hall, is a filmmaker and TV producer reached out to me to consult on the script they have related to Black moms, which is something that I've wanted to do. That's like definitely something I'm moving towards. So it's like, the more I keep talking about the film stuff, the more people are seeing it, and they're like, well, hey, she's an expert on this. I'm writing something that has Black mothers in it. Let me maybe talk to her and pull her in. And so, you know, if you guys could like share my stuff, and the more you share it, the more people get eyes on it. And that's really cool, because that's the kind of stuff that I would love to do. And then finally, I have a script idea, and I'm going to be checking in with someone who, it's kind of a casual mentorship, but they're a pretty like famous screenwriter who is willing to kind of go over things with me and kind of guide me along the process. They gave me some resources and stuff. So after I finish this next book, I'm going to be working on a script, and I'm hoping to sell it. And I think it's a really brilliant story. So, you know, I feel like there's things that are working, but that's why the support in the meantime is helpful. It's like artists used to be able to get grants and funds and things to support the creative process. And so much of that funding has dried up. And it's like, you got these you have artists out here hustling $5,000 here, $5,000 here, just so they can be able to create. And it's like, if we're not creating, then the world stops being beautiful. So, you know, I do set up these things so that people can come and support me. And while I'm trying to make these things happen, and trying to move to that level. So I definitely appreciate everybody who does support me. And if you absolutely 100%, you cannot afford it, because I know that the economy is tough, just sharing my stuff is
Yes.
important to me. Fucking repost is brilliant because you never know who's watching. You
Yeah.
never know the kind of eyes that can get onto something that I'm talking about. You can't support, you can't give money, that's fine,
Get it
but
out
just help me get it out there so that the right people can see. 35. Can you hear me? Sorry. Somebody was
Yes, I
trying to
can hear
give
you
me a phone call. I'm in the middle of streaming, so you can't call me. But yeah, so I'm gonna wrap this up, you guys. I really appreciate you all. It is the beginning of the year. We're gonna try to do some great things here. Next week I will not be
No show.
yeah, I'm actually on break. Why did I bother to come back? Because I am dipping again. I am
Yeah,
leaving. I'm going
abandoning
I'm going on a trip.
Mhm.
I wanted to do Friday. If I do Friday, no, because I don't get in till Miami
You're not
until 8 o'clock. So it's not gonna work on
It's
Friday.
not gonna happen.
I'm taking a break again, guys. I'll be back I guess 2 weeks from now.
Sure.
So I'm going to be unplugging. I'm going to be resting. I'm going to be restoring. I'm going to be enjoying a much needed vacation.
Yes.
So if anybody wants to donate to the you
To
know,
the
to fund.
Dr. T vacation fund.
No, you know, so you know, I used to be able to just plan them and just bop. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here, whatever. Because I used to have, you know, whatever. But like, I planned this one for a few months now.
Yeah.
You know, and I've just been a little bit here, a little bit there, and so I get to actually go away by myself and just enjoy the time. So I really appreciate you, Dr. Hall. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming in again. Folks, I just, you know, I love you all very much. You know this. We are literally entering into World War III. Donald Trump wants to start these wars so he can stop the midterms because he knows he's terrified of the midterms. He knows that there's going to be a blue wave. He knows that'll make him a so-called lame duck president. And he's trying to do everything he can to get rid of the midterms. So we know that that's what this is all about. We're going to have to wade this storm together. We're going to have to really like connect. Let's stay smart about things. Let's read more. Let's not fall for the propaganda. Let's continue to lift each other up and continue to create community. Let's boost these mutual aids if you trust where they're coming from. Let's try. I mean, literally $1 can help. For my GoFundMe, I had people that would give me just $5, and that was so helpful, really and truly. So if you see those, if you could help people out, whatever, if you have a creator like myself that you love following and you love getting education and information from, please support us financially. Please support us with your positive energy. Please just share our work. Let people know that we are out here and we're doing this because we are trying to save lives. Like, at least I am. And y'all, let's hope that we can reconvene in 2 weeks and everything hasn't completely gone to shit. I love you all with the love of my ancestors. I love you all with the love of liberation. I believe that we will win. You got to say this every day. When you wake up in the morning, you got to say, I believe that we will win. You got to say it before you go to bed. I believe that we will win. I love you all very much. Me and my crew's here. And I will be back in 2 weeks.